To Washington, where our nation is about 3 days away from not being able to pay all of its bills. And depending on who you talk to, that could be disastrous or just inconvenient.
Of course, 24 News 8 political reporter Rick Albin is staying in contact with lawmakers. So, Rick, what's next?
Well, what's next is we got to figure out if there's going to be a deal, what it's going to look like. At the end of last weekend, there was a lot of optimism, or at least expectation, depending on your point of view, that a deal could be reached. Not only to let the government borrow to pay its bills, but to reopen parts of the Fed that are closed. Over the weekend, that optimism faded. This afternoon, looks like another deal could be in the works. So what gives? Is the federal government as dysfunctional as it appears? I took that question to one House member as he prepared to head back to Washington at midday after a whirlwind trip back to his district over the weekend. I don't know what you're hearing through your office. I know what I'm hearing through my email and phone calls. There is a lot of frustration, not just with Republicans, not just with Democrats, not just with Congress, but with the president, with Washington in general. People want to know, why in the world can't you get this done? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I have those same frustrations, frankly, and I think if we could lock maybe a smaller group of us in a room, we'd probably come up with a solution than what sometimes gets played out in the national media. And I mean, you guys locally are great. I think oftentimes, though, it's the national media that drives these countdown clocks to doom that are out there all the time. I do try to reassure people as a student of history, going back and looking at this, we have gotten through even much worse issues than what we're at. But it is frustrating not seeing government work for people. It seems like it's working against them. But at the end of the day, we've got to come up with a solution that doesn't put us further in the hole than what we already are, in my opinion.
Now, I'm hearing the latest plan in D.C. could reopen government through the end of the year, maybe a little longer than that. At current spending levels, that would include sequestration. Also, the debt ceiling limit could be extended into next year, maybe into the middle of the year, and there could be a pause in the medical device tax. But then again, that's just the latest incarnation. What I've been hearing, close to a dozen deals now in the past 14 days that might have happened. So tonight, we're still waiting.
And public opinion polls, do you get a sense that anyone in Congress is even paying attention to that stuff, or is that kind of a red herring?
I find it hard to believe that they are, because I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, or I don't care if you live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or you're up on Capitol Hill. If you read the polls and if you want to get something done. But there are a lot of real deep political issues that are going on here, and there's some real practical concerns. We don't know how it's going to play out. So once again tonight, I'll keep a close eye on this, and hopefully we'll have something to report maybe as early as 11 o'clock or by daybreak.
Yeah, this
We'd
could be
like
the week.
that.
Yep.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.